Do you know her name? Yes, Cleopatra. But who was she really? Was she only a beautiful queen? Or was she something more? Some people say she used her face to get power. Others say she was the smartest woman in history. So, which one is true? Let's find out together. In this story, you will not just hear names and dates. You will feel her hopes, her fears, her dreams. You will learn how one woman stood between two empires, Rome and Egypt, and how she used her mind, her heart, and her voice to change the world. In this journey, you will also learn English. Simple, real English. Through true emotion. No hard grammar. No boring tests. Just one powerful story. And you. So, are you ready to begin? Let's go back, not to a war, not to a crown, but to a little girl, in a big city full of books and dreams. Before she was queen, Cleopatra was a little girl. She lived in a city called Alexandria. Alexandria was big, full of people, markets, and boats. It was hot and bright, and it was full of books. Yes, books. Alexandria had the biggest library in the world. People came from many places to read and study. And Cleopatra? She loved it. She did not play with toys all day. She liked to sit with books. She asked questions. She wanted to learn more. She was not like the other children. She listened. She watched. She read about other lands. She dreamed of speaking many languages. By the time she was 14, she could speak Egyptian, Greek, and Latin. Some say she could speak more than 7 languages. Why? Because she wanted to talk to people, to understand them, to be close to them. Even if they were rich or poor, far or near. But even smart girls feel alone sometimes. She lived in a palace, but she didn't always feel happy. Her family was full of secrets. Her father was the king, but he had many problems. Many people did not like him. At night, she heard voices behind doors. She heard the word power again and again. She was just a child, but she knew one thing. Someday she would need to be strong. She didn't know when. She didn't know how, but she was getting ready. Have you ever felt this way? Like you had to grow up fast? Like the world wanted something big from you? Cleopatra did. She looked out the window at the sea. She saw the ships come and go. And she said to herself, "One day, I will not be just a girl. I will be something more." Think about your childhood. Did you ever feel different from the people around you? Now, her life is about to change. Because soon, her father will die, and her fight for the throne will begin. Cleopatra was just 18. She was not ready to be queen, but her father, the king, had died, and now she had to rule Egypt. Not alone. She had to rule with her little brother. He was only 10 years old, but the law said they must rule together. At first, she tried. She shared power. She smiled in public. She stood beside him. But behind the curtains, something else was happening. Her brother's men did not like her. They wanted her out. They said, "She is too smart. She is too strong. She is too dangerous." One day, they made their move. They pushed her out of the palace. They took her crown. They told her, "You are no longer queen." Just like that, her world changed. She ran. She left the city. She hid in the desert. The sun was hot. The wind was strong. She had no home, no army, no power. But she was still Cleopatra. She did not cry in front of others. She did not give up. She listened. She learned. She waited. In her heart, a fire was growing. She told herself, "I am still the queen. I will come back." Some people laughed at her. They said, "She is just a girl. What can she do?" But Cleopatra knew something they did not. She had one gift. She knew how to think, how to plan, how to speak. She did not have a sword. She had something stronger, her mind. Have you ever lost something important? A dream? A chance? Or your place? And still, you told yourself, "I'm not done yet." That was Cleopatra. And soon, a Roman ship came to the shore. On that ship was a man named Julius Caesar, a powerful general, a man who could help her or destroy her. She had to act fast. She had to be bold. She had to find a way back in because the fight for the throne was not over. It was just beginning. The year was 48 BC. A Roman general came to Egypt. His name was Julius Caesar. He was strong. He was smart. He had many soldiers. He wanted Egypt to stay peaceful. Cleopatra saw her chance. She thought, "If I can speak to Caesar, maybe he can help me." But she could not walk into the palace. Her brother's guards were there. They would stop her. So she made a plan, a strange plan. She asked her friend, "Wrap me in a carpet. Take me to Caesar." That night, they carried the carpet into the palace. They put it on the floor in front of Caesar. He did not know what was inside. Then the carpet opened, and Cleopatra stood up. She looked him in the eye. She smiled. She said, "My name is Cleopatra. I am the true queen of Egypt." Caesar was surprised. She was not just beautiful. She was brave. She was different. They talked for hours. She told him about her life, about her brother, about the fight for the throne. She did not beg. She explained. She showed her mind. Caesar listened. And he liked what he heard. He said, "Tomorrow we will speak again." That night, Cleopatra went back to her small room. She had no army. But now, she had a chance. Some people win with swords. Some win with words. Have you ever tried something that felt crazy? Something big with no promise it would work? And still you did it? That was Cleopatra. She had nothing to lose, but she had everything to give. And now, the game of power had begun. She was not just back in the palace. She was back in the fight. Cleopatra meets Caesar again the next day. They sit in the garden. They talk for hours. She tells him stories. He listens. She asks about Rome. He answers. They laugh. They look at the stars. And something begins. Is it love? Or is it something else? Some people say Cleopatra falls in love with Caesar. Others say she only wants power. The truth is, maybe it is both. She sees a man who can help her win. He sees a woman who is not afraid to speak, not afraid to stand tall, even in a world made by men. They start to spend more time together. They eat together. They walk near the Nile. They plan the future. One night, Caesar says, "You are strong, you are smart, you should be queen." And then he helps her take back the throne. Cleopatra returns to the palace. Her brother is angry, but Caesar has soldiers. No one can stop her now. Cleopatra sits on the throne again. She wears gold. She looks calm. But inside, her heart is full of questions. Does Caesar really care for her? Or does he only want control? Does she love him? Or does she just need him? The line between love and politics is thin. Sometimes you cannot see it, not until it is too late. Have you ever felt this? You like someone, but you are not sure why. You do not know what is real. What is true? What is game? Cleopatra walks this line every day. She smiles in front of people, but inside, she watches. She listens. She waits. She knows that love can bring power, and power can bring danger. Still, she keeps going. She stands next to Caesar. They hold hands, and the people watch them, but many do not like what they see. They say, "She is not Roman. She is too close to Caesar. She is a risk." And in Rome, danger starts to grow because power, once given, is hard to keep. And love, once public, is hard to hide. Cleopatra is queen again. She rules Egypt. She stands beside Caesar. She feels strong. But far away, in Rome, people begin to talk. They say, "Why is this woman from Egypt here? Why does Caesar bring her into our city? She is not one of us." Many people do not like her, not because she did something wrong, but because she is different. She is smart. She speaks many languages. She does not act small. She walks with pride. That scares people. They say she uses magic. They say she controls Caesar. They say she wants to take Rome. But Cleopatra does not answer. She stays quiet. She watches. She learns. Still, the looks follow her. The whispers. The cold eyes. One day, she walks through the streets of Rome. People stop. Some smile. Some turn away. She wears a gold dress. She carries her baby boy, the child of Caesar. That makes people even more afraid. A son, a boy who is part Roman and part Egyptian. A boy who may grow to be a king. This is too much for some. They want her gone. Have you ever felt this? You walk into a room. No one says a word, but you feel it. You do not belong. That is how Cleopatra feels. She is in the city, but not in the heart of the people. She is with Caesar, but she is not truly safe. She writes letters to Egypt. She misses the sound of her language, the warm sun, the soft wind. Rome is cold. Not just the weather, but the people too. Still, she stays. For her son, for her future. She believes she can change things. She believes she can be more than a guest. She wants to be part of something big. But change is slow, and danger moves fast. Because in the dark corners of Rome, some people are making a plan. And soon, everything will break. One morning, Cleopatra wakes up early. The sky is gray. The wind is quiet. She looks at her son. She smiles. Caesar is in Rome. She plans to meet him later. She has big news. She wants to talk about the future. But before she can leave, a man runs into the room. His face is white. His voice shakes. Caesar is dead, he says. He is gone. Cleopatra does not speak. She does not move. For a moment, everything stops. She thinks, this is not real. He was just alive. But it is true. Caesar is dead. He was killed in the Senate by his own people. They feared his power. They feared his plans. They feared her. Now, all her dreams break. No more protection. No more help. No more voice in Rome. She holds her son close. He is just a child. He does not understand. But she does. She is alone again. In a city that does not love her. With a child they may want to kill. She must leave. Now. That night, she boards a ship. She looks back at the city one last time. She says nothing. She only watches. Then she turns. She walks below deck, and the ship sails away. Have you ever had a plan? A big plan. You work hard. You hope. And then, one moment takes it all away. That is what she feels. She is not just sad. She is angry. She is afraid. But she is not done. In Egypt, she closes the doors of the palace. She thinks. She writes. She waits. Because power may fall, but it can rise again. She does not know it yet. But soon, a new man will come into her life. And with him, a new chapter will begin. 3 years pass. Cleopatra is back in Egypt. She rules alone now. She takes care of her son. She keeps the country strong. But something is missing. Her heart is still heavy. She thinks of Caesar. She thinks of what could have been. Then, a letter comes. A Roman leader wants to meet her. His name is Antony. He was once close to Caesar. Now, he is a powerful man. He is one of the rulers of Rome. He wants Cleopatra's help. He wants food, money, ships. He wants support. She agrees to meet him, but not in a small way. She sails to the meeting in a grand boat. The sails are purple. The music is loud. She wears silver and gold. People watch from the shore. Antony sees her and smiles. He is not ready for this. She is not like any woman he has known. They meet. They talk. They eat together. He thinks she is charming. She thinks he is brave. Days pass. They laugh more. They drink wine. They play games. They begin to feel something. Is it love? Maybe. Or maybe it is something deeper. They both lost Caesar. They both feel alone. They both want something more. Together, they feel strong. They feel seen. Soon, Antony follows her to Egypt. He stays for weeks, then months, then years. They become partners in life and in power. They have children. They plan a future. She is no longer the girl in the desert. He is no longer the soldier without a path. Together, they dream of a new world. Not just Rome, not just Egypt, but something new, something better. Have you ever met someone who made you feel seen? Like you didn't have to pretend. Like you could build something together? That is what they feel. But not everyone is happy. Far away, in Rome, a man named Octavian watches. He does not smile. He does not clap. He sees danger. He sees a fight. And soon, that fight will begin. Cleopatra and Mark Antony live in Egypt. They are not just lovers. They are leaders. They are builders of a dream. They talk every day. They plan every night. They want to create a new empire, a world where East and West work together. She brings knowledge. He brings power. She knows the land. He knows the army. Together, they feel strong. They build new cities. They help the poor. They give food during hard times. People in Egypt love them. But in Rome, the news sounds different. Some say, Antony forgets who he is. He loves a foreign queen. He forgets Rome. Octavian, the rising ruler in Rome, is angry. He wants full power. He wants Antony out of the way. But Cleopatra and Antony do not stop. They have children. They name one child after the sun, another after the moon. They believe they are not just people. They believe they are part of something bigger. Antony says, "We will make history." Cleopatra says, "No, we already are." Have you ever made plans with someone you trust? Big plans. Dreams that feel too big, but still feel real. They believe in those dreams. They sit by the Nile. They look at the stars. They talk about the future. But stars are far, and dreams can fall. Because Octavian is not quiet. He tells Rome, Antony is weak. He gives power to Cleopatra. He must be stopped. The people start to turn. They listen to fear. They forget the facts. A war is coming. Cleopatra knows it. Antony knows it. Still, they hold hands. Still, they believe. But belief is not always enough. Soon, they will have to fight. Not just with words, but with ships, with soldiers, with fire. Their dream will be tested. And history will watch. It is the year 31 BC. The sea is quiet. The sky is gray. But war is coming. Octavian is ready. He brings a great army. He brings many ships. He brings anger. He says, Rome belongs to me. Antony is a traitor. Cleopatra is a threat. Cleopatra and Antony hear the news. They do not run. They do not hide. They choose to fight. They bring their ships. They bring their hearts. They sail to a place called Actium. It is hot. It is silent. The air feels heavy. On the sea, the two sides wait. Cleopatra is not on land. She is on a ship. She wants to see with her own eyes. She wants to stand beside Antony. The battle begins. Swords hit. Ships burn. Men shout. The sea turns dark with smoke. Cleopatra sees it all. She feels the fire. She feels the fear. Antony tries to lead, but the waves are strong. The wind is fast, and Octavian's army is ready. Suddenly, Cleopatra's ship turns. It moves away from the fight. No one knows why. Some say she panics. Some say she makes a plan. Antony sees her ship leave. He follows. He cannot leave her. Now, their army has no leader. Their men are lost. The battle ends with defeat. Octavian wins. Have you ever made a choice you cannot undo? A turn too early, a word too fast, and everything changes. That day, one turn ends it all. Cleopatra and Antony escape. They sail back to Egypt. They are alive, but they are no longer strong. They sit in silence. They look at the floor. They say nothing. The dream is broken. The war is lost. But their story is not over. Not yet. Cleopatra and Antony return to Egypt. They go back to Alexandria. It is their home. But now, it feels different. The palace is quiet. The streets are empty. People look down when they walk. No more cheers. No more music. No more joy. The city knows the dream is gone. The war is lost. Octavian is coming. His ships move closer each day. His army is big. His plan is clear. He wants to take the city. He wants to take them. Cleopatra stands on the balcony. She looks at the sea. She sees nothing, but she knows he is near. She calls her servants. She says, "Close the gates. Prepare the walls. We must hold strong." Antony walks the halls. He wears his old armor, but his face is tired. His eyes are full of pain. He says, "We will fight one last time," but inside he is unsure. He knows the truth. There is no way to win. They eat dinner together. They speak very little. Sometimes they just sit. Cleopatra touches his hand. He says, "I am sorry." She says, "I am not." Have you ever felt like time is slow? Like the world waits for something bad to happen? But you cannot stop it? That is how they feel. Each day feels heavy. Each night feels cold. Still, Cleopatra does not cry. She writes letters. She talks to her children. She smiles when she must. But when she is alone, she closes her eyes. She remembers the river, the stars, the laughter, and then she opens her eyes because she knows what may come next. Octavian will arrive. He will break the gates. He will take the palace. And he will take their freedom. So they must choose. Do they run? Do they hide? Do they wait? Or do they face the end? On their own terms? Soon they will have to decide. And that choice will change everything. The gates of Alexandria still stand, but everyone knows they will not stand for long. Octavian is close. His army is strong. His ships are near. Inside the palace, Cleopatra and Antony wait. They speak softly. They hold hands. They try to stay calm. Then, one morning, a message comes to Antony. The message says, Cleopatra is dead. He does not believe it. He runs through the halls. He calls her name. There is no answer. His heart breaks. He thinks, she is gone. I cannot go on. So he makes a choice. He takes his sword, and he turns it on himself. The pain is sharp. He falls to the ground. Blood on the floor. His breath grows slow. But the message is wrong. Cleopatra is alive. She hears the news. She runs to him. She finds him on the floor. He looks at her. He smiles. You are not dead, he says. She takes his hand. I am here, she says. He says, then I am not afraid. And then he is gone. She holds him. Her face is quiet. Her eyes do not cry. She has no more tears. She walks to her room. She locks the door. She sits by the window. The sea is calm. The city is quiet. She thinks about the past. She thinks about the love, the war, the hope, the fall. Now, she is the last one left. Have you ever lost someone you could not replace? Someone who held your story? And then you are left with silence? That is what she feels. But Cleopatra does not wait for Octavian. She does not want to be taken. She does not want to be a trophy. She wants to choose, just like she always did. So now, she must make the last decision. Cleopatra sits in her room. She looks at the sea. The sky is light, but her heart is dark. She knows Octavian is near. She knows he wants to take her, to show her in Rome, to make her a prize. She does not want that. She was born a queen. She lived with pride. She made her own choices. She wants to choose her end too. She calls her two closest servants. They have been with her for years. They understand without words. She puts on her best clothes, a gold crown, a white dress, soft perfume. She sits on her throne. She holds her head high. She takes one deep breath. Some say she uses a snake. Some say she takes poison. No one knows for sure. But one thing is true. She dies on her own terms. Quiet, calm, free. Her servants stay beside her. They choose to follow her. When Octavian enters, he finds a silent room. He sees her body. Still, beautiful, strong. He does not speak. He only looks, because even in death, Cleopatra wins. She is not a trophy. She is a legend, Have you ever wanted to leave the world with dignity? Not with fear, but with power in your eyes? That is what she does. She does not scream. She does not run. She ends her story just as she lived it, with choice. And from that moment, her name becomes more than history. It becomes memory, a symbol, a voice. People begin to tell her story, first in Egypt, then in Rome, then across the world. Her life is over, but her legend is just beginning. Cleopatra is gone, but the world does not forget her. People talk about her. They write books. They make statues. They paint her face. Some call her a beauty. Some call her a danger. Some say she used love to get power. Others say she used power to protect love. No one tells the same story, but no one forgets her name. Writers in Rome say she is a woman of magic. Writers in Egypt say she is a queen of wisdom. In truth, she was both. She was soft and strong. She was kind and clever. She was human. She made mistakes. She made history. She spoke many languages. She read many books. She ruled a kingdom. She stood beside two great men. But most of all, she stood as herself. Today, her face is in museums. Her story is in movies. Children learn her name in school. People dress like her. Artists draw her eyes. Poets write about her voice. She died more than 2,000 years ago, but her spirit is still alive. Have you ever heard a story that feels old, but also close to your heart? That is her story, because she was more than a queen. She was a woman who dared to lead. She dared to speak. She dared to choose. In a world of kings and soldiers, she stood alone and still stood tall. You do not have to agree with all she did, but you cannot deny what she was. She lived her way. She died her way. And the world still remembers. So the question is not, who was Cleopatra? The question is, why does her name still matter? And the answer may live inside you. Cleopatra lived more than 2,000 years ago, but somehow she still speaks to us. She speaks to the girl who feels too small, to the boy who wants to lead, to the dreamer who does not fit in, to the fighter who wants to choose their own path. Her story is not just about power, it is about belief. Belief in your mind, in your worth, in your voice. She lost battles. She lost love, but she never lost herself. That is why we still say her name. Not because she was perfect, but because she was real. She stood in front of kings. She spoke in rooms full of fear. She made people listen. And now you listened too. Maybe your world feels far from hers. You don't wear crowns. You don't ride ships. You don't rule empires. But every day, you still choose who you are. You still face people who doubt you. You still walk into rooms where no one knows your story. That is your empire. And your voice matters. So, when you think of Cleopatra, don't just think of beauty. Think of courage. Think of choices. Think of someone who kept going. And maybe you will keep going too. Because this is not just her story, it is a mirror. And now it reflects you. Thank you for listening. And if this story touched you, there are more waiting, more voices, more lessons, more English. Made simple, made human, just like this. We'll see you in the next story.